I heard a few people. One more time. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed your lunch. And thank you for joining us for the afternoon crew, right? That's how I see us. I'm Stephanie Storms. I'm the Assistant Provost for Faculty Affairs, Development, and Diversity at Palo Alto University, and my colleague.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anne Marie Stratton. I am the Administrative Assistant for the Department of Faculty Success. And as of yesterday, I've been at PAU for 2 years.
Yay.
So, woohoo.
I didn't say mine. I've been there for 3. Okay. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead. This is our agenda for today. So basically, I'll give you the context and the background, and Anne Marie's going to give you the fun and technical stuff towards the end. All right. So Palo Alto University. How many people have heard of Palo Alto University? All right, all right. Must be some Californians in here or something. Oh, yes, absolutely. People from the Bay Area know us. So we're a small private university with more of a focus on mental and behavioral health. We're celebrating our 50th year this year as well. We have a couple of undergraduate programs, but mainly we're graduate and professional. And we have about 1,200 students and about 54 full-time faculty. This is our Department of Faculty Success, our team, and we were established in 2022 when I arrived at the university as well. This is just a brief overview of everything that we oversee in our department. We love what we do. It's fun. We love supporting faculty, and this list is always growing. I'll say that. These are the modules that we have for Interfolio. When I arrived, they already had the RPT module, and it was fully implemented. Lifecycle management, they had purchased it, but it was not implemented. So we did that, and then recently, then we also purchased the faculty activity reporting. Because prior to that, they were using a Word document. To do their faculty activity reporting. Of course, you can't pull reports from that and everything like that. So those are the 3 that we have at this point. Just some information about some points about sabbaticals, but we're mainly focusing on the management and the tracking of our sabbaticals. And I put a few things up there saying, that sabbaticals were originally for rest and renewal for faculty. But there's faculty now who would be like, what? I've never rested on my sabbatical. So, it's definitely turned into more this hyper-productivity type of thing. We got to get products, those types of things. But that's for another discussion at another conference. Okay, different debate on that. At Palo Alto, we have 2 different examples of sabbaticals. So our tenure track faculty, before they go up and apply for tenure, they can do a sabbatical leave. And also we have the post-tenure, post-promotion sabbatical as well. I say both because we have tenure track faculty, but we also have scholar educators who don't apply for tenure, but they can go through a promotion process. Now this lovely chart here is one of the reasons why we're standing here today. This is one of the reasons why Anne Marie came up with a new idea for how to use, for us to use lifecycle management, because this sabbatical accrual chart actually lives in the faculty handbook. At one point, one of the faculty senate chairs agreed to take it out because they were like, this is more of an administrative type of process. We don't need this in the faculty handbook. And then the new faculty senate chair said, no, we want that back in the faculty. So it's back in the faculty handbook. And so it just, once they've gone through promotion, a tenure promotion, it shows the first column talks a little bit about how many quarters. If they do 6 quarters, they can have a sabbatical for 1 quarter, and then it also says how much of their salary that they would receive. And so you can imagine when this was we just had spreadsheets and trying to figure this out and calculations, and sometimes the information was correct and sometimes it wasn't. As I was saying that, when I arrived there, the previous person that was doing some of this work had left the institution. Some of the spreadsheets I had access to, sometimes other things we did not. And so the data wasn't always clear. Also, our people operations, which is our, human resources for maybe at your institutions, didn't always have accurate information as well. We still have faculty today saying that, oh, that's not my correct start date. And so we go kind of round and round about that. And then, of course, just data fragmentation, so on and so on, is our reason to come up. But Anne-Marie, like I said, came up with this great idea, and I said, go for it. Let's see if we can improve this process. And so we wanted to hear from you all, and so we have a couple of polls that we wanted you to, so if you have your phones, you can pull out your phones. And so I'm just going to click on over, just go on over to, these are our 2 questions. And let's see, and the polls are ready to go. All right, here's the first. So if you can pull that out. And that first question, how is sabbatical tracked at your institution? All right, did everybody have a chance? So the majority. And for the people that are using the faculty system, is it Interfolio? Majority of people are doing Interfolio. All right, absolutely. Everybody has a chance? Okay. And so we still have, almost a quarter of people between the spreadsheets and something that was custom as well. All right, and so the people that are using spreadsheets, you're considering? Yes, you're considering doing. All right, absolutely. All right, and then our second poll, I can just go to the next one. Okay. And so how, okay, waiting for the display. Go back. All right. And the second one, who tracks sabbatical eligibility at your institution? Okay, so mainly at the school or college level. Yeah, our institution is so small, we just have 3 departments. And so that's why it comes from out of our particular department. Okay, all right. All right, that was faster than I thought. Here we go.
Okay.
I'll pass this over to Anne-Marie.
Yes, okay. And so thank you so much for participating in our polls. That gives us a little bit more context about your institutions. I'm going to start talking about now, seeing that we've had, the tracking of how sabbatical is tracked at our institution, me coming in, looking at these spreadsheets going, this does not make any sense. Last year I had the fortunate opportunity to come to the Interfolio conference to learn a little bit about different things here at Interfolio. And so I went to one and someone said they use Interfolio for sabbatical, and I went, oh, that might help. So we already have sabbatical, we already, tracking, but we do have lifecycle management. Maybe we merge the two because the system of people saying, oh, I've been here for this many quarters, and you're like, you have to look at the chart. That takes a lot of time. So we wanted to find something that would be able to create that in an easier format, be able to put in a system and just go, okay, let's just look at your system. We do have the view option, so our department chairs can then go in it since they are familiar, so that there are more than one point of contact, since lifecycle management is an administrative tool, so it's not really meant for the faculty to go in to look at their own. So that was kind of my thought to go into that. So I'll show you the roadmap of how kind of I created this system. Is I first looked at the chart and said, how do we write this in a way that when we create a cyclical cycle that we can actually see where people are. So I created that series, and then I decided to make sure that when we put them in based on the start date, that it would calculate correctly. We wanted to make sure that we put in an event, because while people can start accruing for sabbatical, they're technically not eligible until either that post-tenure process. So, people who started at their first year of an assistant wouldn't necessarily be applicable. So being able to go in there to say now they're actually eligible, or to be eligible after 6 years. So needing to put in an event to be saying, well, I know you are tracking the pay, because that's a big question that a lot of our faculty have. It's more of when are you actually eligible. So being able to put in that event, and then if people are off leave, they're obviously not accruing. So making sure that we have these exception events to make our timeline be accurate. So that was kind of my roadmap of thinking on creating this. So next I'll kind of give some demos of how we did that, just in case you're unfamiliar with the lifecycle management module. So while this may look a little chaotic, this is how we created this series, where it shows, at 1 quarter, at 2 quarter, at 3 quarter. So if you go to the end of the cycle, you would see 1 year at 100%, 2 year at 100%, and 3 year at 100%. While the titles might be long, it just definitely gives us a more tracking. While we could do quarter by quarter, I did think that with timeline would make a lot of confusion for a lot of people, so we started at the academic year start. So it's going to calculate fall to fall. So at the 6, and then at the 12, and so forth, or however that's calculated. So that's going to be how that's calculated, and so that we have that. So next I'm going to showcase how we actually did this, and we created a test account with Dr. Storm, so thank you. So we went ahead and put in her start date as the test. So I'll go ahead and push this to get a start. So to do that, you would add an appointment. We decided that she'd be in the Department of Social Work. We're saying that it's a sabbatical. We're adding our timeline. We're going to say that this event is a test in this specific instance. And we're going to say when her start date is based on the calendar. While she might have started in July, we're doing the test as the year-to-year quarter. So she's going to start that in. And then you would see that in the professional journey, that timeline would be there. So we can then go ahead and make sure that we're tracking that. Okay, so once the timeline has been added, then you can now add that event of eligibility. So then how you edit that is you would add an event. We'll say that it's a sabbatical. And here we have to calculate 6 years ahead, so we put that August date. And I tend to put the August date because our timeline starts in September and you can't have the dates overlap. So that's where the August comes from, is so that we can go ahead and track that. And then we see that now in that timeline, the sabbatical is there. And so you could, and because you can change the title, you could say eligibility, you could put whatever title. We just decided to use sabbatical to kind of really showcase what other looks like, so we know that's just calculating the pay accrual question that our faculty have, and sabbatical is like, okay, now we know that sabbatical is eligible for that faculty member. Mm-hmm. So if our faculty member was to go on leave for any reason and we need that information, this showcases how we get that, and it would recalculate. So our September date, I believe, then becomes like a December date of when that person gets that total credit.
Yeah, I was going to say, would it help if we went through that one more time? Seem okay? Okay, looks good. Okay.
So our faculty is taking a leave in October to January of 27 to 28, just to showcase that that would show. You can always preview of what that would look like when you're putting in your exception event to make sure that that makes sense on your timeline. And this can also work for any other type of cyclical tracking you're trying to do, whether that would look like, and then you can see where that exception event showcases on the right of your screen, and then we can make sure that all of that tracking showcases so we're calculating that eligibility correctly. Okay. So once we had implemented this system, we made sure that it tested well with all of the test cases that we did. We wanted to make sure that it was applicable. It was helpful that one of our faculty had just come back from sabbatical, so we could test what that would look like from start to finish. And we also wanted to test with some of our faculty that had been at the institution for a long time, so we were able to make sure that it would look still helpful with a large of the timeline not showing, because it'll only showcase starting from when you put in that timeline. So when we made sure that it all worked, we were able to say right away that there's real-time tracking. We were able to see that while we had our visibility and were able to do that, we made sure that, and we tested with our department chairs, that they could view that as well and not be, we didn't give them editing access, just viewability, so that if faculty wanted to connect with their department chair to see what that is, they could also look at their timeline. And then with the option of adding exception events, we could just always make sure that our calculations were accurate, and we wouldn't have to go back into the spreadsheet, add a different date, make sure that that page worked with the next page, and that someone didn't go in, accidentally delete something, and have our calculations be inaccurate. There's a great feature in that lifecycle management that it tracks who's in there and doing what edit. So if there was a mistake, we could definitely go and chat why that might have happened. So that was very helpful. So like we mentioned, we had a lot of confusions with spreadsheets and stuff like that, and there was a lot of mistrust with you saying you have this on your data, the faculty saying that they calculated something else. So by having this specific tool to showcase this is what's going on, there was a lot more trust with the faculty. And definitely as a team of two, by having this done on our for us, we can definitely reduce our workload and not having to continuously go back, finding the spreadsheet. What if someone left and they were the owner of the spreadsheet? We didn't want to have to go through those rabbit holes every time someone had a sabbatical question, and as well as having that security of our storage. So that was something that we definitely benefited from putting this implementation into our system. So some of our takeaways is that Interfolio while has tools, and they showcase what typical standard forms of while you would use your specific test case, they have lots of options to make it more customizable to yourself, so you're able to, while I would say lifecycle management isn't necessarily for sabbatical, you can definitely use it to your institution to benefit your needs. We can add trust to our colleagues and our faculty by giving them that option that it's always there. And we definitely can reduce our workflow and help us make better decisions in a quicker format.